Monster Forge here again, and I'm here with another cheap toy review, although this toy isn't cheap. I guess it's what you would call inexpensive, but really, honestly, I don't like cutting corners whenever I talk. It's a cheap toy. Not cheaply made, just inexpensive. I picked this up on Aliexpress for well under what these figures usually go for. This is a Joytoy Warhammer 40,000 Ultramarine Intercessor. I've been wanting some of the Joytoy figures for a while, and the only problem with that is they're a little bit expensive. The Joytoy stuff, they can run, you know, anywhere from 30 to 40 on up, according to the size and the complexity of the figures. Now, I know some figures usually run for around that price anyway, like Marvel Legends figures and all. They're in the 20, 25, 30, $40 range according to the figure. But the main thing that makes them, to me, kind of expensive at that price is that these are not massive figures. Joytoy figures are on a scale that's close to the Star Wars figure scale, like the vintage Star Wars figures. Like, what in the world happened to Hammerhead? Oh, here he is. You know, like figures of this scale, the 3 3/4 inch. You know, like Stormtroopers here. This is a more modern version of that. But the Joytoy figures are scaled to that. Now, I know it looks like he's not, but Space Marines are massive. They're like, you know, 11 or 12 feet tall, something like that. So he's scaled to like a modern Star Wars figure. But anyway, this is the packaging that it comes in. I want to say I got this guy for like right around 20 bucks. I know I had like a coupon and stuff like that on AliExpress, and so it might have not been like the full price or whatever, but a lot of people are selling this particular wave of figures. They're kind of basic Marines, and 12 centimeter figures. But Joytoy is, I want to say it's a Japanese? Well, it's a Chinese toy. I don't know if they're, like, their corporate is based out of, I don't see Japan mentioned anywhere on the packaging, but I do see China quite a bit. Okay, well, just, yeah, Beijing. So, it's a Chinese toy company, and let me just say, this figure's worth every penny I paid for it. Space Marines are like the main group of characters you follow throughout the Warhammer 40K game and lore, and they're like genetically modified and augmented humans that are no longer human. They serve the Emperor of Mankind. Really cool, like over the top, exaggerated space warriors. But I love them. And Ultramarines, there's different chapters in 40K. If you want to know more about 40K, there's a ton of videos on YouTube explaining the lore of Warhammer 40K. So I don't really need to get in that here. Just know that these guys are awesome, like crazy, violent, super duper warriors. But anyway, this chapter is the Ultramarines. They come from the planet Ultramar, or they represent the planet Ultramar. And this is their power armor that they wear. The Marine that's inside of the suit isn't much smaller than the suit itself, so they're massive, like super beings. But anyway, you've seen the package. this is the figure itself. I don't know the names of all the particular weapons and accoutrements and stuff like that. I know that this is a bolter rifle of some sort. It's got the magazine on it, which the magazine's not removable on this one. Some of the guns that the Joytoy figures come with, I do have removable magazines and stuff. But, you know, this is the basic guy, and it's absolutely fantastic. The figure itself, all the details, this beautiful figure. And where it really shines is like the articulation. This guy can, you know, do just about anything a person can do. He's got crazy articulation everywhere. And in the game itself, in the Warhammer game, so let me bring this down a little bit. Get a better look at it. The game itself, it's played with miniatures, and this is one of the Primaris. Primaris is a different generation of the Space Marines. It's like a more advanced, but they're all Space Marines. It's just different one. And this is a Intercessor, is the type of soldier that this is. But this is the miniature. This is like the 20 or 32. Is it 32 millimeter? I can't remember. But this is one that I painted. I wish it would just stay on the guy. You get these guys in their gray plastic, and you have to put them together and paint them. And it's a lot of fun. I love working on the miniatures. I've never played the game. I know a good bit of the lore from watching videos on YouTube. Which is a lot of fun too, because it's like this big, massive universe with all these characters and these factions and all that kind of stuff. But that's the size of the miniature compared to this figure, so that's what it's representing. But just such a really nice figure. I love this toy. The one that I had previous from this was McFarlane Toys put out a Space Marine, which is scaled to more like Marvel Legends type, the 1/12 scale. So he's a big old boy, and this one I've done some custom painting on him to make him kind of battle worn, and I gave him a purity seal here. I did some other augmentations to him, but like hollowing out the barrels of his gun. There's a little joke in Warhammer. It's like your minis aren't really ready. Your Space Marine minis aren't ready if the barrels aren't hollowed out. And so even down to the little tiny guys, you're supposed to hollow out the barrels. It's kind of tedious when they're that small, but you know that's what hand drills are for. But anyway, this is the big boy, and the big boy, the McFarlane one, I think he was like $20, and this guy is like 25. But the difference is in like the quality of, like, the sculpt is more precise. The paint, which you can't really. This is my paint job on this one, but the paint job's better on this one. And the articulation on this guy is kind of, you know, I gave him this knife, but it's, the joints are kind of sticky on this in places, and you really can't get the range. Like the hips, like that's as far out as they go. That's as far forward as they go, far back. They're clickety and they're sticky in some places, and it's kind of hard to get them to pose. And then in other places, they're loose. So, and I've got one of the Chaos Space Marines from McFarlane, and immediately the shoulder joint on his left arm broke. Like, I mean, hardly 2 seconds out of the package, and the thing broke. And I'm not a ham-hander when it comes to the toys, but it's nice anyway. I mean, I like the McFarlane ones. They're a little bit more readily available, and that's cool. They're cool for what they are. But we're not talking about this guy today. We're talking about this guy, and I'm gonna take his weapon out of his hand, just so we can get a look at what all he can do. The articulation. He's got a ball joint at the neck, which you can pop his head off. I'm not going to right now, but let me bring this down a little bit, since we're not talking about the big boy anymore. We're talking about the little guy. The backpack is detachable. Just has a little 2-peg deal in the back there. All of the stuff on his belt, it's removable. I think this one's, yeah. It's all like little ball joints that pop in. He's got a little relic, which is like probably the bones of a psych. And I don't know. I don't know whose bones they would be. He's got bones anyway. But this is the basic figure, and so the head's on a ball joint. He's got a ball joint in the upper torso. He's got a ball joint in the lower torso. He can twist at all of those, but he's got like a good range of motion there at that ball joint in the torso, the 2 ball joints in the torso. He's got a butterfly joint in here. It kind of pops out, and it gives him a good range. Like, he can hold things in front of himself, which is nice. The McFarlane figure can't do that. He can move his arms out like this. Now, there's some people that have done some mods to this thing right here. I didn't really see the need to, but if you go online and look it up, if you go on YouTube and look it up, you can see a mod where you can make this lift up higher, and it has everything to do with attaching this here. But it's got like a little flap from the inside of the pauldron to the shoulder joint that holds it on there, and it's fine for me. He's got a swivel joint in mid bicep. He's got double jointed elbows. He's got a ball joint at the wrist, and it's a double ball joint, so not only do you get like a swivel and a up and down, up, back and forth, you can also swap out the hands. I'll show you in a minute when I show you his accessories. He's got several extra hands. But he's got, like, his hips come out a good bit more, and if you turn it just right, you can get him out way farther than the McFarlane one. He's not going to be doing the splits anytime soon, but he's a big bulky boy, so it's kind of he's got a swivel at the upper thigh. He's got double jointed knees, and what's nice is that thing just kind of moves on its own, that knee pad part. It's really nice. He's got a lot of articulation at the ankles. What's nice is there's a big gap in there with a ball joint and like a peg, and you can get a lot of range in that. And he's also got a toe joint, which I've always felt like those are kind of unnecessary with figures. And another thing too, a lot of times when you have the figures that have the toe joint, which is nice for posing like that, give him a peg hole right here. Just the only critique I have, and it's for any toys that have like the posable toe joint. Give him a peg hole right there, because you want to have the ability to peg his foot into a stand. But that's the articulation on this guy. Let's suit him back up, and we'll take a look at his accessories. He comes with a few. Let's see. Goes right there. This goes right here. His little relic hangs right there. And of course he's got his gun. But he also came with some other stuff. And you know, he's got, like I said, his hands can pop off at the ball there, and you can replace it with hands that hold different things different ways. And like this one holds his chainsword, which the Marines in the Space Marines have chain swords. It's like a chainsaw sword combination. And really nice sculpt again, which I might have not talked about how much I like the sculpt on this guy. Very clean. It's very clean sculpt. But there's his chain sword. Now you've got options for let's see, do I have the, oh, this is the other trigger finger hand. He's got 2 trigger finger hands. He's got two fists. He's got the grabby hand for the chain sword, and he's got another grabby hand for the other arm, if you want the chain sword holding that one. Now he's got 2 options for his pistol, or a couple of options for the pistol. One, when he's carrying his other weapons, he's got a holstered pistol, and that will hang right here, so he can, you know, cross draw it across there. And it has a purity seal on it, which is cool. It's got the little script on it and all, which you can't really read. It's like little dashes of paint, but it's holstered there. Or you can have the empty holster hanging there, and you can put the bolter pistol in his hand, and he holds it really well. And what's cool is the McFarlane, when I had to hollow out the barrels, these came hollowed out. Bonus points for accuracy. Another little gripe is the holstered gun has a purity seal, which is, it's not as far. Oh crap! I just broke it. Anyway, I can glue that back in place. The holstered gun has a purity seal. The unholstered doesn't. Which, it would be nice if this had come with a purity seal on it, so it could be like the same thing. But you know, no biggie. Don't push things that are glued on it, because they'll come right out. All I'll have to do is take a little drop of super glue and put it on there and hold it in place. But one of the things that he came with, and it's almost unnecessary because the figure stands really well. Like those big feet and everything, and the way he's posable and everything, he stands. But what's nice is he came with a stand. So, you know, and the nice thing about that is you can have him posed up, you know, really well, and the stand will hold him, you know, doing all kind of poses and stuff. So that's cool. But yeah, he's a really cool figure. I'm gonna put a link in the description below to where you can get some of these guys. The guy that, or the people that I bought it from in oh, another thing is the little exhaust on his backpack, they move. This is a power pack. I don't really know the purpose of why they move, but they do move, so that's another point of articulation to consider. But anyway, where I got this, the people I got this from, I think that they're out of the Ultramarines, but they have the, I want to say it's, and these are different chapters. I want to say they still have the Blood Angels and Imperial Fists, which Imperial Fists are yellow with like some red design elements, and the Blood Angels are red with some white design elements on them, but they're both really cool looking. But you can get, and several different sellers on Aliexpress are selling them. If you just look up Joytoy Warhammer, you'll find a ton that's on there right now, and these are legitimate. Like I've looked, and as far as I can tell, these are not bootlegs. And I've had a couple of people have made videos on YouTube about these guys, and they said that, yeah, they're absolutely legitimate Joytoy toys. Like, I wouldn't know how to tell the difference, but it's quality. I mean, this is an impressive figure. And so, you know, if you are into Warhammer, or just into, you know, figures that are just cool, like bulky space soldiers. I mean, who doesn't like bulky space soldiers? It's a great pickup. I've seen a couple of people have, like, in particular, the Imperial Fist, which is the yellow armored Space Marines, for like $18. And so, well, I saw one seller had one for $16. So I'm not sure. I'll link somebody. I'll link where I got this, because I can't really review somebody I didn't buy it from. But always with AliExpress, check the feedback of the particular seller. Mine arrived in good shape. The only thing, the package, which I don't care about packaging, but mine got like a little ding right there. Because if I remember correctly, it was like, I think this just came in like an envelope, like a padded envelope. And it could have been crushed all to pieces, but it didn't get crushed to pieces, so that was good. But, you know, if that kind of stuff matters to you, it's AliExpress. You're at the mercy of international shipping, and you know, all that entails. But this has been my review of the Joytoy Warhammer 40K Ultramarine Intercessor, and I hope you've enjoyed it. If you liked the video, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give me a thumbs down. Leave a comment. Hit the bell for notifications, and subscribe for more. And I'll talk to you later. Monster Forge out.